Hello everyone, it's Vector Game Dev and welcome to the fourth devlog for Firewars. In today's devlog, we're going to be talking about a localization tool that I've developed, as well as a skill set system that I've created, and also I did some improvements to the gameplay, including using a physics-based character controller, and also I've been cleaning up the graphics of the game as well, so we're going to be talking about all of that in this video. Alright, so I'm going to start off with the localization tool that I've developed. And the localization tool has been done for a while, the core system, but what I've done now was to actually create editors so I can change the text files and set it up. And one of the things I'm going to be doing in the future is to export those files and these structures to Excel sheets. So maybe in the future when I localize the game, I can just send those sheets and get the translation back to me, and then I can import that into the tool as well. But at the moment I can modify the keys and the values, and I can even configure like spacing and comments and things like that to make it a bit easier as well for me to read those files. And also now I have a lot of components that can grab those values from those files, and all of this is integrated with the addressable system, which I have been creating for a while. So for the past 2 weeks I've been improving the gameplay a bit, and one of the things that I really wanted to do was switch from the nav mesh controller to the physics-based controller. I thought at the beginning the nav mesh controller would work fine, but there's a lot of limitations and I want to give the players a bit more freedom in terms of movement and jumping and moving around, and I want to add like moving platforms, elevators, things like that, and the nav mesh controller is a bit tricky to work with all of those things. So ultimately I decided to switch, and now I'm using a physics-based controller which is implemented, is working just fine, and I can add all those features without having to worry too much about messing with the nav mesh, and it's been a lot better in terms of gameplay as well. Another thing that I've done recently was to kind of improve how the human shoots at the virus, because in the past I'd had like a button for the human to lock into the virus and then a button for the human to shoot at the virus. Now what I'm doing is, if the player is close enough, it's going to target the virus, and then if you press the button to shoot, it's going to lock into the virus, and then once the virus moves far enough, then the lock's removed, and then the human player needs to go close to the virus again. And I'm still not 100% sure about how that's all gonna work out. I guess I'll be finding the answers to that in testing when I give this game for people to test. But at the moment I think that's the best solution, and it's not as messy as it was before. And I like the control, and one of the things I'm gonna be adding to this feature is actually indicating with the UI which target is actually selected, so it's a bit easier for the player to see who's the target in the scene. Alright, I want to do a quick break here just to talk about the break that I did. So I basically stopped streaming for like a month, but that was because I had some other work to do that wasn't related to the game dev. But now it's all resolved, I'm back to game dev, and even though there's gonna be some other stuff popping up, I'm still gonna be focusing mainly on this project, and I'll be streaming more. And also I've been planning a few challenges on Twitch as well, so if you're interested in that, make sure to check the links in the description. And also, as always, if you find that content interesting and if you think that's something for you, please consider subscribing. That'll help me a lot. And now let's get back to the devlog. Alright, so during the first stream of the year, when I decided to go back to streaming, I've created a super simple system that replaces the current selection system. So basically what it is like a skill set system. So before, what I had to do was each character would have its own skill. So each character has an active skill and a passive skill. So basically, if I wanted to switch it up the skills, I would have to create a different character for each type of skill. So what I've done instead was I created skill sets for passive and active skills, and then during the character selection, the player can now switch between So I'm going to create a series of skill sets that are going to contain an active and a passive skills, and during the character selection the player can switch between them, which is going to make player and gameplay customization a lot easier to do, and I hope this feature is going to improve the gameplay experience as well. Alright, the last thing I want to talk about in this devlog is that I've been cleaning up the graphics of the game a bit. So since I started this project I didn't really have an art direction, but during the holidays and during my 1 month break I kind of went into like Pinterest and just researched a bunch of game art styles, and I think now I found what the art style direction is going to be like. So I've set up a bunch of references and I have some sketches that I want to do, but I've been cleaning up the graphics, and actually I've set up a workflow for my models and my textures. So what I'm going to be doing from now on is every time I create a new asset I'm going to have like a scene to import them into, and also I'm going to check if they match with the current assets that I have, and if they do I import them to a scene where there is a player that walks around and I can see how it looks inside of the game. And then if everything matches up, and then I make a prefab out of these assets, and then once this prefab is made I can actually place that prefab on my levels, and hopefully the game should look a lot nicer moving forwards, because now I actually have a direction to go to, and I think it's gonna look nice. I'm gonna be improving the models, the textures and everything, just to make the game look as good as it can look, and especially because I've been playing a demo for a while, so hopefully this demo should come up sooner rather than later, and if I get an art style right, this should get a better gameplay experience for the players. Alright, that's gonna be it for this devlog. Thank you so very much for watching until this point, and if you like this video please leave a like, that will help me a lot, and if you're interested in this content again please make sure you're subscribed, and I'll be back with more devlogs next week. I'm gonna really try to do those weekly. I really want to kind of share what I'm doing with you guys. Alright, that's it guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.